Hey guys, welcome back to Coached, where myself and fellow Monster Hunter experts review your submitter runs to help you improve with your weapon and matchups. Today, we have a bow player going into an Arch-Temper Velkhana. As you may know, I have tried my hand at a similar matchup in the past, to some less than stellar results. So I hope to learn a thing or two from today's bow breakdown as well. Joining us for this review is a fellow YouTuber and content creator, speedrunner, and bow expert, Titus69, known across the community for his prowess with the weapon. Starting off, the item bar is again very messy, so I'm going to show you guys how to save yourself the headache of scrolling through 20 items in order to find the buff that you need. From the pre-hunt menu, choose the item and loadout option, and then there's an option at the very bottom for item bar, where you can move the placement for each of your items, so that all of them appear near the front or back of the loadout menu. Titus wants to point out here that your mantle uptime might not be optimal if you put it on before you even see the monster. Since the evasion mantle lasts for around a minute, you would want to savor each moment that you have with this sweet baby of a mantle. What I like to do is use a demon powder while sprinting after sliding down the slope, and then use the mantle right afterwards, which is just enough time to dodge her first roar and give you a free evasion mantle proc if you want. Another thing that Titus wants to point out is that might pills are unfortunately not too viable for bow due to the relatively slow sheath, and it is unlikely that you're going to sheath much compared to weapons like SNS or Greatsword. So it is slightly better for you to use a might seed here instead. For these donut attacks, I have a nitpick that I want to share. You will notice that after you dodged inwards, you still waited a half second before getting a clear shot on the head. You can instead use that time to delay the dodge for the evade mantle proc, giving you a massive damage boost to this punish instead. On the other hand, I love that you're confident in sticking close to the ATV and having very solid positioning to land clean power shots on the head often. One thing that Titus and I discussed was your usage of stunning arc shots. While they serve to build up stun, build-up is completely paused when the monster is toppled due to a stun. If you're aiming to maximize your damage in this case, you can either rotate dash dances, normal shots, and power shots, or just alternate between a dash and power shot instead. Another mistake, which I made myself quite often for my bow runs, is dropping the falling boulders above ATV too early. As its aura level increases based on the damage taken, if you drop the boulders on it when it is in aura level 1, you are inadvertently pushing her towards aura level 2, which is when she uses her mobility hindering 6 walls attack. Titus suggests that you bring her down to aura 0, which is when she is completely naked that you drop the boulders, so that her aura level will never go past 1. We think that throughout the fight, you do a good job avoiding ATV's attacks, and we've noticed that you know the fight very well. I don't say this often, but I think you can afford to be even more liberal with your stamina expenditure. Generally speaking, you want to be hovering around 20% stamina. You can squeeze this out by putting down more shots, maybe such as a quick shot as ATV begins to attack, and then using an iframe dash to avoid the attack, and throwing in normal shots between consecutive attacks like the double ice beam, before ultimately ending with a power shot combo to complete an attack sequence. These ice walls are also the bane of my existence too, so don't worry. One thing that you can keep in mind is that your power shot leans your character backwards, so if your normal shot goes into the ice wall, chances are the power shot would go into the wall as well. I would have repositioned here before shooting again, and taking the L on the normal shots. Now the ATV is in aura level 2, you will be experiencing a lot of suffering. A little bit more aggression would help maintaining its aura at a reasonable level because of Elder Seal. One thing I noticed about your gameplay is that you use a lot of twitch micro adjustments, and it hurts my wrist a little just by watching. This plays slightly into some aiming theories, where generally people can control their arm movements much easier and smoother than wrist movements. Thus, by dropping your sensitivity, you will be forced to use arm movements instead, which would help you smooth your aim in the long run, and also be a little bit healthier for your wrist. For attacks like the double ice beam, its tracking is actually atrocious. You will notice this consistently with a lot of ATV's attacks. The third dodge from that distance is actually unnecessary, as you would actually be able to easily fit in a power shot for more damage. The flinch ice beam punish was perfect in my opinion though. You should try to use this punish on each of the second ice beams, whenever you see the opportunity. So here comes the ultimate, and you will notice that you spend a lot of time standing around during the 360. This is perfectly fine because you are buffed, but that is because you spent time beforehand sheathing and buffing yourself up. You can use this time instead to sheath. Use a demon powder or even a might seed while it does the 360, and you will still have the time to draw your weapon and dodge the first hit of the donut. If you are worried, since the head comes down after the second ring, you can also do a charge dash to gain some more bow charges if need be. One of the most important talking points we agreed on is the use of quick shots, or more specifically, the lack thereof. Quick shot is one of the best ways to apply fast damage, start bow charge, and also fill in the awkward gap between seeing the animation and reacting to the hitbox. Quick shot has very little recovery lag, so you're easily able to shoot off a quick shot while in point blank range before dodging out of an attack, and then follow up with whatever sequence is necessary. I think that once you master using quick shot, before using a charge dash out of an attack, you'll notice a significant upgrade to your gameplay. Throughout the run, I noticed that you still use a lot of Thousand Dragons. While talking to Tidus about this, I learned the purpose of this is to build up Elder Seal quickly. However, they should be used preferably near the end of a topple, when you are low on stamina and are about to end your combo anyways. You wouldn't want to spend your time picking up Slinger Pods during an opportune DPS time such as a wallbang, just to deal a single Thousand Dragons on the head. Instead, you can combine your sheath moments such as healing and rebuffing to pick up Slinger ammo. You will also notice a lot more consistent faster clear time if you limit sheathing with the bow entirely, as the time it takes to sheath on the bow is slow and clunky compared to some other light weapons. So, at around this point, I realized that you're not using the arc shot as a means of stun buildup or even a cycle power shots. I'm guessing that you're repeatedly using the power shot key, which will alternate between arc and power shots. However, to sum up Tidus' words, it's inefficient, but arc shots do have their niche elsewhere. ATV stun threshold increases too far drastically after the first KO, making any subsequent stun buildup with the bow wholly useless. Thus, it's much more fruitful to just cycle between dashes and spread shots instead. The rest of the hunt plays out very similarly, with very conservative bow punishes. Overall, Tidus and I think that you have understand ATV at a very good level, as evidenced by the disciplined dodges. But eventually, you will have to learn to step out of the comfort zone in order to improve your bow. I think to start with, you should slowly incorporate quick shots as your combo starter, and then eventually move into quick shots right before performing a dash at 0 charge. This will drastically speed up your bow charge gain, getting you much more damage in the long run. The second most important aspect is to reduce unnecessary Thousand Dragons, as the damage is generally not worth losing bow charges unless you're already out of stamina. After that, you'll be able to better focus on finding new windows with some lower sensitivities and careful observation of the head movements. Unfortunately, I was not able to see your build, so I can't comment on it. But judging from your performance alone, I think you have a solid setup that has a good balance for you in terms of damage and survivability. For anyone who is watching on YouTube, you can submit your runs to be reviewed for your betterment by sending an email to brightshadevt@gmail.com. If you like what you saw today, or want to see me fail with ATV using the bow firsthand. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.